Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about the full moon and lunar eclipse that we're going to have on Saturday, October 28th in a nakshatra called Ashwini in the sign of Aries. But before I begin, I would just like to say I will be talking about the sidereal or astronomical placements as used in Vedic astrology. If you're new to this channel, hi! I'm RoseAnna. I'm a Vedic astrologer talking about planetary transits and full and new moon updates. So if you're interested in that, you can subscribe below. This full moon will be the second and the final event of this eclipse season that we're having this fall. And it's especially significant because this is the last eclipse, the very last eclipse that we will have before the nodes change signs, which they will do in the end of November. So it's a very significant eclipse in that it will be like the end of a chapter. So this will be the summary and the grand finale of the chapter that we've been in now for the last 1.5 years. So take some time and reflect on where you are at this stage in your journey. What has been the focus for you this past 1.5 years? Where are you now, and what are you longing to manifest as we move into a new chapter? As in this case, where the lunar eclipse follows the solar eclipse, the previous solar eclipse that we had in Virgo a few weeks past, this really feels like the natural order of things, where first we have the solar eclipse and then we have the lunar eclipse, where we're given an opportunity to really process our emotions, a time for things to settle, for us to become more in tune with how we feel about things, our feelings about the changes that we are standing before, or if we're standing before a crossroads, and now we get the chance to let our emotions settle and really take in what it is that we want, what we feel about the things we are standing before, or the things standing before us. So the full moon will be in the nakshatra called Ashwini, and this is the very first nakshatra of the zodiac. So there's a very fiery, rajasic, dedicated, energetic energy that can be seen here. And under the influence of Ashwini, the soul is really longing to manifest new adventures, to follow our dharmic path, to follow the truth of our soul, and to leave our mark on the world. So there's a very individualistic and very ambitious energy that can be seen here, very fiery energy. It's a highly spirited and dynamic nakshatra, very, very much action-oriented. And this can actually be a challenge, as the eclipses are not really considered beneficial times for launching new projects or taking impulsive action. And this can be somewhat challenging in the influence of Ashwini. The symbol for Ashwini is a horse's head, and the horses are very significant in this nakshatra because if you look at the deities that resides here, they are the 𝒃𝒍𝒆𝒔𝒊𝒏𝒈𝒔, or the physicians of the gods, and they are also the horse twins born of the sun, Surya, and so there's a lot of influence of horses with this nakshatra. And for me, horses also signify that free-spirited, impulsive, action-oriented energy that really wants to follow the soul's calling and follow the heart's desire. That's very both dharmic and very individualistic energy that really wants to express our unique individual self. And the 𝒃𝒍𝒆𝒔𝒊𝒏𝒈𝒔, they are also then called the physicians of the gods, and they were left here on earth to bring enlightenment and healing to the people. And this is why they are also very often linked with the practice of Ayurvedic medicine. So there's also a lot of focus on our health and our healing with this nakshatra. And the 𝒃𝒍𝒆𝒔𝒊𝒏𝒈𝒔, the horse twins, they always make me feel or think about the card Chariot from the Tarot. And if you look at the card with the two horses, that feels like a perfect representation, if you will, of this energy that can be seen here, where we're very much under the influence of following our desires and a lot of impulsivity. So it brings also into light the need to control our desires, to control our impulsivity, to make the horses what would you say, tame the horses, you know, make them run together instead of at a whim following our impulsivity, because then it will be really hard to manifest anything at all, really. So taming our desires is a focus of this nakshatra as well. If you look at the planetary rulers, the ruler for Ashwini is Ketu, the south node, and the ruler for Aries is the planet Mars. So there's a combined influence of Mars and Ketu with this nakshatra. And this always makes me think of the spiritual warrior that is dutifully and with a lot of righteousness practicing our spiritual path and following our spiritual path, and that is very concerned with helping those in need, helping the weaker, helping those that, helping the weaker, and showing that inner fiery courage that is needed to protect those in need and to protect our spiritual values, and provides us with a sense of duty and a sense of righteousness. The eclipse will also be very much influenced by Mars and Mercury, that is currently conjoined and in the sign of Libra with the Sun and the South Node, and as well by a retrograde Jupiter that is currently transiting Aries, where the North Node and the Moon sits. So Mars can really add this impulsivity and restlessness and even agitation to our emotions during the eclipse. And Mercury's influence can really make us having trouble expressing ourselves with clarity or expressing ourselves clearly, because Ketu has this impact on Mercury's communication skills, where we might be misunderstood, or there could be an added risk of miscommunications even. So this could be wise to remember as well, or perhaps not the time to engage in any heated discussions or arguments, or because our communication isn't at our best, let's say. And then the added influence of Jupiter, that is the planet of Dharma in Aries, the Dharma sign, where we are really much concerned with following our inner truth and following our inner path. What is our vision? What is our goals? What is our purpose? What is the goals that we are working toward in our future, let's say, or what is the vision that is that we are operating out of in our life? What is it that we long to manifest? What is the desired path that we wish to be on? And it can be a time also where we even begin to question some of those beliefs and desires and purposes that we have been operating under in the past, but that now don't feel that aligned anymore. So as this chapter ends or draws to an end, take some time and just listen inward, go inward, listen to your intuition. What is it calling you to do? What is it calling you to manifest? What is it that you're longing to create, or which path you're longing to make reality? And honor those inner whispers of your soul. So how can we work with the energy of the eclipse? Well, generally speaking, the eclipses are not really a great time to either launch new projects or make big changes in our lives, or make any sudden or rash decisions. So that could be something to refrain from. It's a time where our emotions are more close to the surface. We might feel a bit more agitated than usual, or more restless than usual. So it's time to really focus on doing things that is good for protecting our harmony and our energy, keeping a level head, keeping our peace of mind. It's very beneficial to do things such as meditation and or yoga practices, or things where you just take some time, sit in silence and write, journal, reflect on where you are at this journey. Because as I said, this eclipse will be the last event before the nodes changes sign. So it really is the end of a chapter. So consider where you are at your journey, what you wish to leave in the past as this chapter draws to a close, and what you wish to create more of in the future as we are going into a new adventure that lies on the horizon now. So take some time and reflect on this. As usual, I will share my questions for reflection, but before I do that, I would also like to do a sign-by-sign reading. So I will go into what the eclipse means for each sign, beginning with the sign of Aries. So for you, Aries, this happens in your first house of yourself, your individuality, your path. And so all of these things could come into question for you now. You might be reevaluating what is your path, what it is you wish to express, what you wish to make manifest, or the way you express your individuality. It could even be a time where you feel like you are done with something, ready to leave something in the past, and you're really ready to embark on a new adventure now. You might be feeling a bit restless, you might be feeling a bit agitated. So try not to do anything too impulsive or make any rash decisions. Just hold tight, let things settle a bit, let your emotions settle a bit before you make any new decisions. You could also receive some insight or more clarity into your relationships at this time, where you are at your relationships. How do they feel to you? Do they feel like they are harmonious and in balance? Or do you feel like you've been compromising too much? Or on the other hand, too unwilling to make compromises? All of these things could also come into question now. But be clear with your emotions, listen to your intuition. Perhaps don't make any sudden decisions, but listen to what your intuition is calling you to do and be very clear with your intentions. If you've neglected yourself or neglected listening to yourself, that could become very prominent for you at this time. Taurus, for you, this takes place in your 12th house of isolation, sleep, dreams, and deep emotions. So this could be an emotionally intense time for you. It might be a time where things from the past suddenly arise, or emotions from the past, or memories from the past, and patterns even from the past all rise to the surface for you to become aware of at this time. It can also be a time where you're focused a bit on your health and your healing and how to take care of your energy. And if there's sudden changes or certain changes you need to do in order to take better care of your health or your healing and how to protect your energy. But I would say be very gentle with yourself at this time. Try to create space for just yourself, do things that replenish your energy, and don't strain yourself or take on too much or too much activity even. Just create some space for just yourself to be and reflect, meditate, journal, do things that feel good to you, but that also keep you in touch with your intuition, because your emotions can be a little bit more sensitive at this time. The eclipse can also surface emotions that you may have about your commitments and the sacrifices that you make. And I'm talking about those sacrifices that you make that are very close to you, like on your job or your close relationships, and how these sacrifices and these commitments feel to you. And if they don't feel meaningful or worthwhile, that can really become more prominent for you at this time. And perhaps you wish to make certain adjustments or change your priorities in a way to create more harmony and balance and to feel more at peace. Gemini, for you, this takes place in your 11th house of higher visions, your dreams, your goals, and your social circles and networks. So this can be a time where you're feeling pulled to change social circles, or where suddenly you begin to see a close friend in a new light, or where you're becoming a little bit more selective with who you surround yourself with, protecting your energy even. It could also be a time where you're reevaluating your desires and your higher visions for yourself, for your work, for your dreams, your goals. It can also be a time where you're reevaluating your passions, your interests, which path you wish to follow. Is there something you wish to be doing or something you wish to manifest that you have not yet realized? this could be a time for surfacing those kinds of emotions now. Cancer, for you this takes place in your 10th house of work, career, and your personal authority. So all of these things can come more into focus at this time. It might also be a time where you feel a little bit more restless, or you feel like you've taken on too many commitments and you don't have time to do it all, and you want to prioritize your work commitments priorly. But it can also be a time where the balance between your home life and your work life come more into question, and you feel like there are certain adjustments you wish to make to create more balance and harmony within these areas. But it could be a time where you're reevaluating your goals, especially at your work, or what you wish to manifest within your work starts to become more clear for you. If you've been feeling dissatisfied with an aspect of your work or your career, it could also rise to the surface now. So take some time and reflect on your work, your goals, and your vision for your career, and how all of these things feel to you. Leo, for you this takes place in your 9th house of higher vision, your teachings, your beliefs, and your personal life philosophy. So all of these things can come into question at this time. You might also experience some issues with your communications, as the South Node sits in your 3rd house of communications. So this is perhaps not the best time to engage in heated arguments or heated discussions, as there's an added risk for miscommunications or misunderstandings at this time. So hold off on all of that. But it's a great time to reflect on your teachings and your philosophies. And perhaps you are experiencing changes in all of those areas as well. Perhaps you've been changing what sort of teachings you follow, or perhaps you've outgrown your life philosophy and are out seeking new beliefs or a new belief system even, or there could be some changes in the way you view the world even here. You may also become more clear on new teachings that you wish to study, or a new higher vision that you wish to adhere to. You might experience your higher visions and your teachings going through some changes at this time. Virgo, for you this takes place in your 8th house of deep emotions, insecurities, and transformation. So here there can be a quite emotionally intense time for you. It could also mean that deep emotions, patterns, or things from the past suddenly begin to surface, and there could be something that you need to release so that you can move forward into a new chapter. It could be a time where old insecurities or old fears that have been holding you back begin to rise to the surface, and there's perhaps something here that you can release and leave in the past. Be gentle with yourself and be gentle with your emotions, as you might feel more sensitive at this time. Your intuition can become heightened at this time as well. So be careful be mindful, or rather observe your emotions, but be mindful of what is not what doesn't belong to you. Just release what isn't yours to carry. Libra, for you this takes place in your 7th house of relationships and partnerships. So these areas come more into question now. It could be a time where you're reevaluating your feelings about your relationships, how they feel to you. Do they feel like they are balanced and in harmony? Is there an equal amount of respect, of giving and taking? Are you compromising too much or not compromising enough? Are you giving away your power? All of these things can come into question here. So take some time and just be by yourself a little bit, and just meditate and journal, or do something by yourself and just get clarity on your thoughts and your emotions. If you've been neglecting your own desires or pushing down your own desires in order to keep the peace in your relationship, or to in support of somebody else, but this could be coming to the surface now. So take note of what you are feeling, and what is your desires, and listen to your inner self. Take note of what surfaces for you, and see what you can do to create more harmony, more alignment, and more balance in your relationships. Scorpio, For you, this takes place in your 6th house of health and healing, routines, and sacrifices. So the eclipse can really be a time for you to look at your personal health routines, the way you take care of your health, the way you take care of your energy, and see if there are certain adjustments that you wish to make in all of these areas. It can also be a time where if you feel like the personal sacrifices that you do, the effort you put in, especially when it comes to your work or your close personal relationships, how these efforts and how these commitments feel to you. If you feel like they are worthwhile and meaningful, or perhaps you feel like you've been just given away your energy and you want to let go of certain things or change your priorities. This could be rising to the surface now. You might also become more clear on your emotions towards these matters, towards work matters, and what things feel meaningful to you, what commitments feel meaningful to you. With the South Node in your 12th house of sleep and dreams, you might feel a little bit more restless or agitated at this time even, and it could be a time where your sleep patterns are out of balance. So be very gentle with your energy, take care of your energy, and do things that replenish your health and your energy. Sagittarius, for you, this takes place in your 5th house of passion, creativity, and your children. So all of these things come more into question at this time. This could mean new beginning with your creative projects or your passion projects. And it could also be a time where you're feeling a loss of interest in certain things, or things that previously felt very close to your heart that no longer really interest you in the same way. It could also be a time where if you've been taking on too many projects or spreading yourself too thin, it could all surface for you now, and perhaps you feel the need to make certain adjustments in your work priorities or your projects and readjust your time management or your priorities. Which projects really feel meaningful to you? What is it that you really wish to manifest? Which goals feel most meaningful to you? All of these questions could be prominent at this time. If you've been pushing down your inner desires or neglecting to listen to the whispers of your soul, this could also surface at this time and really call out to you to follow your path. But the eclipse in itself is not the best time to make any big decisions or make any sudden changes, but take note of what you are feeling, what your intuition is providing you with, but hold off on any major decisions until after the eclipse. Capricorn, for you, this takes place in your 4th house of your home, your emotions, and your mother. So all of these things come more into question now. And it could be a time where you're feeling the need to make adjustments in your work or home life balance. Perhaps you've been feeling a need to change your priorities or manage your time differently, and this could all rise to the surface now. It could be a time where you're feeling more clear on which goals you wish to pursue at work, which goals you wish to pursue with your career. It could also be a time where you're feeling more emotionally clear and which direction feels right in your heart. But as the eclipse happens in your 4th house of emotion, it could also be a time where you're feeling a bit more restless or uneasy. So do things that help you keep the peace, help you keep balance and harmony, and perhaps wait with any big decisions at this time. Aquarius, for you, this takes place in your 3rd house of interest, communications, and your close community. So all of these things come more into focus now. Perhaps you've been becoming more clear on which path it is that you want to follow, which teaching it is that you want to follow. Perhaps you've outgrown some teachings from the past, or you're ready for something new, a new adventure even. It could also surface your feelings about your interests and your desires, and surface perhaps something that has been hidden from you up until this point. or you're experiencing changes in your desires. Because the eclipse happens in your third house of communication, it might also be a time where you're experiencing difficulties in expressing yourself with clarity, or there's an added risk of miscommunications and misunderstandings. So perhaps avoid taking part in any big discussions or avoid arguments at this time. Pisces! For you, this takes place in your second house of your values, assets, and family. This could be a time where you're feeling ready to let go of certain things from the past or certain patterns from the past. It could also be a time where you're ready to let go or make peace with certain values that no longer really feel like they belong to you anymore. Perhaps you've outgrown them and you're ready to leave it in the past and are ready for something new. It could also be a time where beliefs or patterns that you may hold about money and assets are coming into question, and you're ready to transform your beliefs for something new. With the South Node in your 8th house, it could also be a time where old emotions or past memories begin to surface, and it could be a time where you're ready to let go of old patterns or insecurities that have been holding you back or keeping you from stepping fully into your power, into your true self. So perhaps you're becoming more ready to just let this go and leave them in the past. It could be an emotionally intense time, so focus on doing things that keep your harmony and keep your sense of inner peace at this time. As usual, I will share my questions for reflection, and the questions I wrote for this eclipse were: which new chapter am I ready to begin in my life? What am I longing to manifest, to make part of my life? Am I experiencing a change in my desires? Is there something blocking my path forward? Some obstacle or issue that needs resolving before I can move on to something new? What can I do to help myself step into my full potential? Thanks so much for watching. Please leave a like or a comment or share the video to someone you think would appreciate it. And I wish you all a very peaceful lunar eclipse, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, guys. Bye!